Hello, everyone. How we doing today? I'm doing amazing. Thanks for asking. A little bit tired, as you might hear from my voice. Had a very weird weekend. Had to catch up on some sleep, but had a lot of work, so I just didn't get to do both. Uh, just you have to learn balance in your life, and that's still something I have yet to learn. But it is going to come. Let me share my screen with you guys real quick. There we go. Oh, sorry, I just had some wrong settings here for a second. All right, that should work fine. And just to answer you, I think you're right, Charles. It's Mother's Day. I did not expect much people to be here at this time. A lot of people are out with their mother, which is understandable. Hope you guys had a great Mother's Day, showed some appreciation, hopefully. But for now, we can get into the charts. So, starting off as it always should be, I tend to forget to start off with news, but that's where everything starts, right? We have very beautiful week, third week of the month. I would say it's second week because we started with a half week, but we have beautiful CPI. I love this week. PPI, CPI, those are definitely my favorite weeks. I feel like that is where the price action is definitely the cleanest. Just in my personal experience, that's what I've seen. And to look at the news more specifically, we have no news Monday, no news Friday, and we have news on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. More specifically, CPI on Wednesday, and we have Powell speaking in the AM session on Tuesday. So for me, that looks like a classic bye week just from the start, right? Just looking at the news. Once we dive into price, this theory changes a little, but we'll look into it into more detail in a second here. So I'm starting on a weekly chart just to show you guys what we were talking about last week, right? We started and I said, well, I would like to see a continuation lower, right? And to frame it on a weekly chart, I was looking at this more specifically, right? Before this weekly candle, which was last week, printed, even though we dug up into this pretty bad, I wanted to see us continue lower. That was my main objective. But what did I also say? I said if we dig too aggressively into this order block, I'm going to be expecting it to go for this low resistance liquidity, which also frames these relative equal highs. And if I'm not mistaken, there was SMT present right here. Exactly. So between this swing high and I believe this one, yeah, this swing high as well, we had SMT with ES. So to me, right now, as you can see right here, we barely dug into it and we seem to be respecting it, but we decided to show bullish order flow off of this. Let me just mark it out correctly. Off of this daily fair value gap right here, daily bullish fair value gap. So that is very bullish. We are expanding higher. And of course, Friday we had a retracement of our weekly range, right? If we look at our weekly candle right here, right? This is our monthly. Let me just use midnight open since we haven't reached midnight. It should show me last week. Now it shows me Wednesday. Oh, I'm gonna talk to I'm gonna talk to 2 degrees about that. That's a little bit weird. But yes, just to get off of that, what you can see right here, we opened right here, expanded higher, had a midweek retracement to then continue expansion higher, and retracement for the weekly close. So all that to say that I disregard this wick just rejecting right the order block because in context that was just a retracement of my weekly range. That was just Friday, which was retracing to a close of the weekly candle, which definitely looks a little too much like this one. That's my weekly candle, but why is it monthly power of 3? Oh, it's starting on Wednesday. Okay, so sorry, I'm just confused because the indicator is a little messed up on this specific example. But if we keep moving forward in this specific case, I'm going to be continuing to look for higher prices. But before I can Whoa. Sorry about that, guys. As I said, pretty tired, so the body's showing up a little. But I'm going to be continuing to look for higher prices, more specifically to go target this low resistance liquidity all the way up to here. but definitely expecting some sort of small retracement after reaching for these equal highs right here, relative equal highs. But first off, before we can expand higher, with the context provided by the economic calendar, right? We have 3 weeks, 3 news, so 3 high probability trading days: Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So if I want those to run on side, and I think only power of 3 and open high low close, open low high close, I want to see price open on Monday, or on Sunday more specifically for me, and then manipulate lower early week. So we could say Monday, but possibly all the way to through Tuesday's news, to then expand higher going into all the way to Thursday, sorry, and possibly Friday as well. So I'm going to be looking for something like this. I'm going to be looking for a clean open low high close of my weekly range. And where would I like the low to be formed? Well, in this fair value gap right here. So actually, let me just use this one, and I will include the volume imbalance into it, as I teach people to do. Oh, my drawing was almost perfect. I want to see respect of consequent encroachment, and if we look to the left right here, it also aligns with this bullish daily order block. So I'm going to mark this out because I'm going to keep those. So I'm going to say bullish order block, so plus order block of a daily time frame. That's how I like to mark out my specific levels in my chart. That way, once I'm in my 1 minute chart and I have my 4 hour right next to me, I can see price react to those specific levels, and also see the candle specifically in the higher time frame react or not to these levels. So I'm looking at this, and that is, well, more specifically, this specific move is what I'm looking for. So early week, I'm going to be looking for shorts to trade back into our range, and I am going to be looking at this specific range. I don't see this order block respecting. I would like to see a manipulation lower be more aggressive than just a small retracement into this order block, but we might stop there. If we stop at this order block and expand higher, I just won't have an opportunity, and since I'm not trading before Tuesday, I won't get the chance to mess up. I want to bring your attention very quickly to this inefficiency I just drew out. So if I just put my cross on, so that way we can see the overlap on both, you can see that an inefficiency was formed on ES while it was not on NASDAQ. And that is some sort of divergence. Do I utilize it as SMT and the low has been put in, we've already been accumulating? No. Trading Tuesday before CPI. I am. I have different rules than when I give insight into beginners. So before I continue with this weekly outlook, I'll just explain that a little so I don't leave you guys on a hanger like this. For a beginning trader, it is specifically easier to read price and to capture high probability large moves on days that have a higher chance of making a large range, which means high probability trading days based on my logic that I shared to my students, right, Justin, and I also shared that specific logic on Twitter. If you go to my highlights tab, you'll find the economic calendar thread, and I believe I also put it up in projects. I have not, actually. I'm going to put it up in projects as well so that it is easier accessible for you guys. But basically, that logic states that you need high probability trading day, and as Justin is pointing out, you would not trade before CPI. And if we look at CPI specifically, then we understand that CPI often runs on side, which means with this specific bias, we are expecting CPI to be somewhere in this range, right? Let me just put that in another color. This range would be Wednesday, right? CPI. I'm trying to predict price action. That's where I'm looking for that move to occur, right? To happen. But I do not need to wait to be trading this move down. And to me, that is solely for advanced traders. So I do not tell my students to be trading that. Why? Because first of all, half of my students won't succeed. And that's not because of me. That's not because of my teaching. That's because they are not willing to go the distance that is needed, right? And right now, I'm going to be honest, there's a high success rate, in my opinion, but we'll see moving forward, right? But basically, I am not going to be telling you to trade when you have no experience. But once you have that experience, for you guys. Oh, wait, am I talking? Hello, hello, hello. Can you guys hear me? I just, sorry, I unplugged my mic, not on purpose. I believe I cut off at experience, correct? I was talking about experience. All right. Yeah. So basically, what I was saying, sorry, before I unplugged my mic, was that to me, you need experience to be able to navigate these days that are less clear because they don't have a clear time aspect. So when you have news, you know when to expect manipulation and you know when to expect a reaction off of PD arrays because you know where they will reach. And you can also anticipate a larger range, which means more opportunity. But when you're in a smaller range and you're trading on Monday with no news, you need a lot of experience seeing those specific days and having traded those specific days to be able to be on side and to find high probability opportunities. So to stop going around in circles, it's basically that. With no experience, follow this by the book. With more experience, and that will come in the video I'm releasing tomorrow on YouTube, right, about my race trading model, I talk about an aggressive approach and a conservative approach. I still trade conservatively, which is almost following to the T the logic I talk about in the economic calendar. I don't trade on most days that don't have news, but when they are in line with weekly profiles, I do. So I'm not going to explain deeper what I meant right there because that's some sauce for the students specifically. But once we're in class tomorrow, Justin, just feel free to ask me that question again and I'll go in depth. Sorry, guys, but premium subscription is going to come someday and I want to keep some sauce for these guys. I hope you understand. But yeah, enough talking about random stuff now. Just to get back into it, that's what I'm looking for. And as I can see on ES, creating that displacement through that fair value gap, I'm going to be concentrating on longing ES. Why? Exactly what I'm saying. It is stronger to the upside. It is displacing higher, creating bullish inefficiencies. And more specifically on ES, I could see it not go past this fair value gap. This is a possibility I see on ES. So best case scenario, I see Monday accumulating, possibly expanding lower on consolidating pretty much, but possibly expanding lower on NASDAQ. And then I want to see both continue higher, but more specifically, I want to see low of the week made on Tuesday for ES and on Wednesday for NASDAQ, creating my SMT. That's what I'd like to see very, very specifically into a prediction. That is best case scenario, what I'd like to see. And I'm going to be adjustable to everything, right? Because on highs and lows of the weeks, there is SMT present. And I don't have a clear number, but I will soon because, well, I'm making a script for it. So we'll have that information soon. But pretty much that's what I'm looking for. And when I'm looking at my intra-week time frame, I'm looking at an hourly chart. So I'm going to be looking for hourly SMT after a high impact news event, which can be PPI on Tuesday or CPI on Wednesday, to form the low of week here for NASDAQ. And more, I would prefer to see it here on ES, and I would concentrate trading ES long, but I do not mind if it goes down here as well. If it starts digging back down into this one, I'm going to be a little surprised, to be honest. I'd like to see the stronger asset, ES, stay in a premium and not need to go back down to a discount, while NASDAQ would, preferably. So possibly more something like this, wicking down here, closing above consequent encroachment of this fair value gap. How does that sound? Precise. Yeah, I'm trying to bring a new level of precision to these because I try to keep them simple, but then I notice that most people don't see the value because of how simple they are. So I'm gonna get a little deeper into it, and as you can see, I'm not using any other concepts, right? I'm using the basic stuff, logic I shared publicly about the economic calendar, premium and discount, inefficiencies, and then power of three, right? And that's where my experience around news kicks in as to the understanding of specifically what I want to see, right? But I want to keep it simpler but more precise, so I'm trying to work on this for you guys. I hope you appreciate that. But I'm open to any questions. We've only been here for 15 minutes, so if you guys have any questions, I'd be glad to get into it. But if not, this is going to be the end of the call. All clear. I'm not seeing anyone typing, so I'm guessing everything was clear for everybody. Do I still think we could manipulate to January lows? Well, I don't think we're gonna go as far as this, to be honest, anymore, because of how this was a very aggressive move down. Right, we can see it on our daily chart. This manipulation lower, which I'm anticipating this to be a manipulation, was very aggressive. We went to IPDA 40 lows and reacted off of this order block. I would have liked to see it go lower, right? I had a previous objective which started on a monthly chart, right? I wanted to see it go all the way down to this order block right here. That's what I was looking for. Let me just put that blue, and I had this inverted fair value gap also in mind to frame that specific idea, right? I wanted to see it go down there. But if we go back to our daily chart and we see this, if it goes down there, then it's going to go to this one, and then it starts taking all the way back, and we're super deep, and that's a super large trend. So I did want to see it go down lower, but to answer your questions, no. At this specific point, I don't see it. At the beginning of the year, I stated, when I started doing these weekly outlooks, right, that it was my first year trading the election year. And ICT talks a little about it. A lot of people talk about it. Election year acts very different on indices. So it's not a regular year when I could see seasonality kick in, but when I use seasonality solely on election years, so if you look at every election year, you'll see that April often does a short-term low, which is later confirmed as an intermediate term low, meaning what? This will probably be low of year. Probably, right? Probably means what? It means there is a very high probability. So I'm not calling it as low of year. I told you guys I don't like seeing indices long term like this because I don't have enough experience yet on indices to be calling moves that last a few years, right? And a few months and whatever. So I'm trying not to look into that. But for now, what I'm seeing is we're going to expand here, possibly retrace and continue, right? But low of year will probably be this, at least for the next few months, right? Current law. Make sense? So bullish for the upcoming while. My pleasure, my pleasure. And you know, we see I have a very, as I stated, right, bullish targets on DXY, but that doesn't make sense with indices also going higher. But if we look at DXY, we've been trading within a range for a long time now. And in July 2023, we started expanding higher, which was our huge run down for the summer. But now after retracing, we're pushing back higher, but indices are still going higher during this DXY uptrend. So DXY and indices are not following each other. It's risk off scenario. So we'll be waiting for further insight to have clearer moves. But these long-term moves are often when DXY and NASDAQ align on a higher time frame chart, like a weekly or daily chart, right? But if you see this price action, right, what did we do? We traded down into what I wanted to see, right, this order block, and then expanded higher, but we had a deep retracement. So we'll have to see where this goes further on, but I still wanted to see DXY go higher, which is exactly the opposite of my indices alignment. I want to see that both go higher, and they're supposed to be inversely correlated, but I am allowing it since DXY and NASDAQ are not currently following each other based on a higher time frame trend, which is why we see a lot of consolidation during our weeks, by the way. Make sense? I'm guessing I'll take that as a yes. I don't see anyone typing. Awesome. All right, Darrell. Awesome. Well, on that note, I'll leave you guys to it. We'll see each other tomorrow night for the release of the trading model. I hope to see you all in great numbers. It's going to be definitely clear insight, and I'm going to be answering any questions in the Discord here. So I'll see you guys tomorrow, 4:30 EST, 4:30 p.m. Y'all have a great night and good luck trading this week. See you guys.